Ladies, gentlemen, one and all, Evo has ended, and all I can say is those were some of the most mind-blowing reveals I've ever seen in a long time. Usually hype is the word that describes this feeling, but I feel a sense of joy and happiness. I remember watching some of these videos and I shed tears. I was so happy to see some of the things that I saw. And of course, one of the greatest reveals of EVO 2019 was the Tekken 7 Season 3 DLC and roadmap. Can't control myself. But here we're going to be talking about the patch notes as they are ahead of time, because bear in mind there is actually quite a lot of detail in that short little trailer. You just need an extra little bit of time and a mind of analysis. A shout out to a dear friend of mine, KRW King 101. Please check out his YouTube channel under that exact same name. If I forget to link his channel in the description, please remind me. We spent the whole afternoon straight after Evo. I guess the date would be the 5th of August, and we went through watching the trailer over and over and over again, and we just kept on picking up bit by bit, and here we are. The patch analysis video ahead of time, ahead of the actual notes. So we're going to try to do this as fast as possible, and thank you for taking the time to watch. We are going to be focusing mainly on the small boxes that you see as they present the new moves. Bear in mind how I feel is that this patch is mostly an extension on what already is existing in the game. They're taking player sets, they're taking player styles and just adding new moves, adding onto it so that there can be more variety and better balance overall, which is cool. I say no to nerfs, yes to buffs. But here we go, the Tekken 7 Season 3 patch notes as we go box by box from left to right, top to bottom. I know, someone's probably shouting, get to the patch notes already. For Zafina's sake, people, calm down. We're getting to it right now. And the first character we'll be looking at is Master Raven. There are two key things that you can deduce from this particular box that shows her gameplay. Her power crush, forward 1+2, now screws on airborne opponents. Whether she needs this change or not, I guess it's still yet to be seen. My analysis is that it's always good to get different ranges from your screw attacks. So maybe screwing with the power crush gets better better frame advantage for a closer screw, allowing it to run up easier and get better damage, or better yet, get another string that wouldn't be possible with another screw. And this is then further shown. She gets a new 2-hit string that leaves the opponent in a high wall splat. Now, someone might wonder, what is the benefit of that? Getting high wall splats in Tekken 7 allows players to get their most optimal and probably most damaging corner combos. And Master Raven has that. One extremely damaging corner combo, but it's very specific. You can't just get the final hit of the combo if you have a not too optimal wall splat. So these two put together might help Master Raven in smaller, shorter stages to optimize her damage. Who knows, but we'll see as time progresses. And looking at the second box, we will be looking at Lars, who seems to have received a new move. Not much to this. It's a power crush straight out of Silent Entry. Probably it's gonna be a Silent Entry 4 input, considering that is kicking with the right foot. It's a high power crush that screws, similar to what Horang has with Backlash, maybe similar to Lee's Hitman 3. Not sure the implications of this, considering the frames required to enter Silent Entry in the first place. So I'm sure Lars players moving on, getting this change, might use the power crush to check their opponent as to keep them honest to their mix-ups. Lars has some really good mids out of silent entry, one low here and there, but an opponent would most likely step or try hop kick in most cases to get out of this pressure or block and punish. But given those options, most higher power crushes are safe and have good tracking per se. Some may even home, so this could be a good tool for Lars. Maybe could be a good tool for Lars in silent entry to just check the opponent and make sure that he can enforce a mix-up out of silent entry. Whether this makes silent entry better or worse, to be honest, I don't know. I feel like silent entry is where Lars kind of falls into a gray area. You don't really know how great this stance is. In certain situations it seems really good, but in most cases you don't know when to implement it. So who knows? This could be a good change, giving Lars a power crush in a situation where he is actually just a little bit vulnerable. But we'll see as time moves on. We'll hear from the Lars players. People always crying buff Lars. We'll see what happens. Okay, and in the third box, we'll be looking at Brian Fury, a character who I feel didn't really need much extra, but everyone's getting a little something. Oprah seems to be hard at work. Brian seems to have received a new string, and it's coming from a while standing position, which screws airborne opponents. And this screw most likely will help him readjust certain combos off a snake edge, I guess adjusting for the wall. I'm not sure what the properties will be on hit in terms of non-airborne opponents, probably to give him some significant frame advantage if it's a natural combo. That is the key factor to this new Wow Rising move. Will it be a natural combo? If yes, then Brian actually gets a good block punish on lows at lower frame intervals. So if it's going to be 13 frames, 14 frames, the better. He's going to actually have a good while standing punish. The frames still yet to be known. Could cause a spin on hit, could not. Who knows at this state? We've only seen it being hit on an airborne opponent and it screws. So who knows? Maybe great frame advantage as a Wow Rising block punish, and then also a good floating combo extender for people who have been set into an airborne state. And considering that Brian has some good counter hits that lead a person to crumple stun, this could also be a good extension for people who can do instant Wow Rising moves if the execution is good enough. So we will see as time goes on. But like I said before, Brian, I feel, is already strong as is. Don't know if this is a good, like a necessary addition. On the fourth box, we'll be looking at Shaheen, who received a new screw attack out of his stance. It's shown as an extension on an airborne opponent from his down back 2. And I guess maybe this can help him get extended juggles. I'm trying to think. It's just that as a non-Shaheen player, the intricacies fly over my head. But I'm sure at longer combos, might need some special specific screws, and maybe this could help make combos more consistent, considering that the new string or new screw move kind of connects from a low to a high, which means it can pick people up better as compared to a screw that either starts from a high or a mid. So this could give him better conversion rates at longer ranges, which is a great thing for Shaheen considering how mobile he is, and his combos, how they extend, sometimes can be a little bit weird. So we'll see if this helps, but I still feel that Shaheen is still a great character. Looking at the fourth box, we'll be looking at King, who gets another tailspin move. Facepalm. Severe facepalm. I feel like this is just my personal opinion, but I feel like the problem with King was not that he didn't have a way to screw an opponent. I feel like King didn't have many options after he screwed an opponent. So giving him another screw move, in my opinion, I don't know. Sure, it could make some things consistent for people who can't do forward 2 combos. But the thing is, just get good and learn how to do forward 2 combos. So to me, in all honesty, I feel like this is going to be one of those additions that end up not doing anything at all. But anyway, he's got a new tail spin move in his plethora of tail spin moves. Maybe it might be a 14 frame. Looks like it's starting from back 2. Who knows what the frames are going to be on whiff or hitting a standing opponent. Probably won't be a natural combo. But this is up in the air. We'll see it in September. I don't know what this is for. I would like all the King players to comment, please, and give me their thoughts on this move. At number 6, we'll be looking at Paul Phoenix. Now, Paul is a character that did receive some nerfs, which kind of took him down the professional tier list a notch or two. So seeing him receiving new tools is quite I don't know, it's neither here nor there, but it could actually turn out to be something great. He seems to have received a new wall combo, as seen in the small box where he gets, the wall splat, gets in the sway combo, and then he gets a new ender that leaves the opponent face down. And I always say that getting the opponent face down, especially in the corner, is a great thing. It allows you to enforce a horrendous mix-up. Now, if you were to look at Paul Phoenix, we've got Demo Man that can lead to a wall splat, and Paul Phoenix has so many mids I cannot even count, including Death Fist. So the mix-up at the wall might just kill when it comes to Paul Phoenix. But whether this helps his neutral play outside of that wall combo, who knows? The string itself most definitely will not be a natural combo, but the final hit might cause frame advantage. Who knows? Who knows? But we will have to see. And on top of that, his forward 2-1 is a wall bounce. I think Paul is going to murder people at the wall. I'm just calling it now. Most people are gonna die to Paul in the war. My advice, step the right way. Don't dare try step the wrong way. Please don't. You will die. Heihachi is on block 7, and it seems like he received a new while rising punish, which is kind of a good thing for the people who cannot crouch cancel electric. So most likely this might be a 14 or 15 frame punishing move, which is good. I feel like Mishima characters are hard to use, and that hurts them at lower skill levels. So people getting into the game, getting to that intermediate skill level, it's really hard being a good Mishima player at those levels. So adding in more tools to help in certain gaps in their skill set is a good thing. Now looking at Jin. I don't know why you can make, or should I say why you should make, a great character stronger, but that's exactly what I feel like they did. 1+2 is a 14 frame startup move. It has been made into a wall bounce. Bear in mind it's also a high. Bear in mind it's not a high, it's a mid. 14 frames, wall bounce. So anytime you're -14 near a wall, he's going to get a relatively huge combo. And it seems like he's received a new extension from Zen Stance, which leads to a high wall splat, and that will open up probably new avenues of damage for Jin at the wall besides 2 into Savage Sword. So I always say that if you can give a character new combos where you actually have different combos for different variations of situations, then it's a good thing. Nothing more boring than the same combo all the damn time. So we'll get to see what this plays out. I feel like this might just be a very good wall bounce move, because I feel like Jin as a whole that was a strong 14 frame punish. But why not just electric, So if you give it more utility, it might actually have more value as a move. We'll see how it plays out. Jin has been getting better and better, and I feel like this just makes him just one step even better than he was before. Seems like season 3, people are getting a whole lot of new things, but as soon as we get the patch notes in, that's when we can see who has really been hurt and who has been rewarded. Hopefully everyone gets buffed. Now we're looking at my baby girl Kazumi. Can all the Kazumi fans just raise their hands? Put them down at the end of the video. Not just keep them raised, pretty much. It seems like Kazumi, one of the things that Kazumi lacked was an efficient hop kick. She already has a hop kick, right? Very poor range, very poor horizontal range. Very poor. There's literally nothing good I can say about that hop kick, in all honesty. At least she has one, considering her toolset. So in this case, they have given a hop kick that has a similar animation to Julia Chang. It's coming out of her fly stance, and it's good at extending combos, getting good wall carry, and a good wall splat. You won't be able to use this defensively, but also moves like 3 into fly can have that hop kick threat as a countermeasure for people who try poke out. So this could actually be a good thing that allows Kazumi to play just a little bit more free and a little bit more aggressive coming out of her fly stance. Kazuya Mishima, Block 10, seems to have received a new move, and this move probably comes from a back 2 starter, and to be honest with you, it could lead to more consistent combo conversions. Now, listen to me, hear me out. Usually, most Mishima characters who have traditional electrics, so we're looking at Heihachi, we're looking at Devil Jin, and we're looking at Kazuya. Now, these characters can perform multiple electrics if your execution is good enough. But the problem being, the more electrics you do, the harder it is to get a normal move to connect to juggle the opponent. So having a situation whereby you can do, for example, 3 electrics into a screw is a very difficult or impossible thing to do depending on the situation. Now, giving him a new string from back 2 that hits so low allows Kazuya to potentially screw after 2, 3, or maybe even 4 dash electrics or pure wind guard electrics. So depending on the execution, which is I do. I'm going to try test this when the new season drops. 3 electrics into that new string. If it does screw, it should give him ridiculous damage for a 14 frame launcher. Now, at box number 11, we'll be looking at Bob. Bob seems to have gotten a new move. God knows what Bob does. For all the Bob fans, please, Bob fans, if you're listening to me right now, just write it in the comments. Whatever this thing is that he's doing that the Bob does, just put it in the comments and tell the people what it is. Me, Bob are like oil and water. Yeah, we ain't never gonna mix. So block 11 was Bob, for anyone wanted to know. Now, the interesting thing about block 12 is Horang. Horang is quite the character. I remember there was a phase when I was a Horang player, and Horang is a very aggressive, a very mix-up heavy character, very technical, very movement heavy. And it seems like in this box, they're showing something similar to a down forward 1, being stance cancelled into flamingo, into right foot forward attack. So this may just mean down forward 1 can be cancelled into a stance, but it can also mean that there are more buttons in his arsenal that can be cancelled into a stance, meaning that the mix-up can come from various attacks, which is quite cool, because I feel like Hwoarang's defense is not so great. And as a Hwoarang player, always used to wish for better defensive options as a Hwoarang player. Maybe being able to block out of Flamingo, for example, might be overpowered, right? But for example, that's what I used to think about. But I feel like they're going towards the route of, instead of improving his defense and movement, improve his offense. Hwoarang is an all-in character. I feel like there's certain times where you have to take a risk, and it's 50-50 on both sides. So we'll see how this pans out. Negan, a character who has received quite a lot of criticism as being one of the worst characters in Tekken 7. I remember when it came out, I was lukewarm. Season 2 was quite a disaster for me. No character I liked. So I was like, let me pick up Negan. At least maybe, he might be serviceable. That didn't turn out to be so true. But one of the weaknesses that I saw when playing Negan, outside of his range and poor tracking, was the absence of good low attacks. So in box number 13, it seems like they've given him a low with Lucille, which has a really good range. What he can get after that, I don't know. But hopefully the frame advantage will be so good that he can enforce some sort of mix-up, allowing Negan to be a bully of a character, probably especially at the wall. So we'll see. Throw getting better Oki, yeah, that's, who knows. Most people these days who are really good tend to break a lot of throws or just fuzzy duck. So we'll see. Negan really needs a lot, I believe, to get him there. And I hope that they do get him there, because there's nothing worse than a guest character who kind of sucks. And I feel like Negan is that guest character that kind of sucks. Nina is on block 14, and I see that she's received a new extension. It shows her starting off a combo into a screw with a butterfly effect, and usually her quarter circle forward 1, I believe, should be her Hellbringer, and quarter circle 2 should be, or should I say quarter circle forward 2 should be the backhand slap that gets you a flip stun. So it's now got an extension where she can do a kick before that, which I assume makes it easier to float people who are screwed at longer range distances. Should help with the wall carry after longer combos, bearing in mind that most Ninas do execute a lot of juggles before the screw and a lot of instant while rising ones before a screw. So longer screw combos tend to get iffy, especially given the combo ender that you want to pick. So this could help. On block 15, we have Claudio, and it seems like his forward 3 causes a bounce launch on counter hit. This is similar to what Jin has. This is similar to... yeah, I guess this is similar to what Jin has and Kazumi with the forward 4. If you can land a counter hit, they bounce off the floor, giving you an extended juggle, which is quite cool, because giving Claudio a launch outside of a hop kick is quite good, because I feel like it gives him more maneuverability around the frames, if that makes sense, because you don't want to take great risks all the time to launch your opponent. And I feel like that's what the hop kick is in terms of Claudio's arsenal. No matter how good it is, it's still negative on block. So I'm hoping that this is a mid that launches on counter hit and is safe. This allows Claudio to at least be a bit more compact, a bit more safe in his gameplay, and potentially still get high damage. I have a theory though. If you can get that on counter hit and your buffering is good enough, you can get a running one and into starburst, but I don't know why you would want to do that. But I feel like there's something there. Get that near a breakable wall, get a running one. I don't know if starburst will even activate after the wall break. Who knows if it does, if it doesn't. Anyway, the Claudio people will tell me. But that's pretty much it. Block 16, we're looking at Katarina Alves, and it seems like her Harrier stance is now moving along the lines of combo extensions, allowing her to combo out of the Harrier stance, and of course she already has the ability to combo into Harrier stance, so she can extend her combos with a little bit more consistently, making it a little bit easier for the Katarina players, which is quite cool in my opinion, giving her more combo conversions, because I feel like though people say that Katarina is an easier character in the roster, I feel like she ticks a lot of the boxes in tools that you need to succeed, and giving her more options, nothing too overpowered, I feel like it's quite cool. Gives even the players who don't have the execution a character that still is viable. And I don't know, I just have great respect for Katarina. Maybe I'm just biased, who the hell knows. All I can say is I'm a main Leroy Smith. I'ma just throw it in there, Leroy Smith. Yeah, I'ma just say it again, Leroy Smith. Okay, moving on. Lily on block 17 seems to have received a new power crush that knocks down on hit. The thing is, she already had a great power crush that causes a crumple stun, allowing you to combo. So why would she need a second power crush? I don't know. I actually don't know. But if I were to act smart and try give you an answer, I would say that if you are already at the wall, that initial power crush that she had becomes less valuable. Instead, you'd want something that knocks down on hit by the wall for better frame advantage, allowing you to mix up on their wake up. So that's my guess on what the second power crush is all about. Maybe the initial power crush isn't even a power crush anymore. There have been situations where properties have been changed, where a move was a power crush but isn't anymore, and a move that wasn't a power crush becomes one. So maybe this is just a change up. Maybe they feel like the first power crush was too good or not good enough, and they've given another one to change things. So we'll have to see moving on with the patch what this means for Lily, a character who I feel like has kind of dropped off the radar. The less Devil Jin players they have become, the less Lily players. I feel like she only really got more popular as a counter pick to Devil Jin. So we'll see. Maybe there will be a use or a resurrection of Lily players outside of the Devil Jin matchup, of which I hope so. Giga at block 18 now has a new standing launcher, and I'm hoping that the frames on it are good, because Gigas has been very known to be very slow on his feet, especially when we're talking about launchers. But Gigas now has a new standing launcher with great range that causes a crumple stun on hit and a new screw move. So I'm hoping that this allows him to put pressure. Usually the bigger characters tend to have to be a little bit defensive, just due to their speed alone. It's really tough sometimes as the bigger character, but that's Gigas. And then at number 19, one of my mains, Devil Jin. This is an interesting change, and this is how I'm going to break it down. This is what I think it is. As you can see in the box, Devil Jin does back 2 into Heaven's Gate. But the thing is though, usually back 2 doesn't have good frame advantage to do that. So I'm thinking that back 2 now has the properties of back 1-2. So back 1-2, you can hold the second input, the 2 part, and cancel the move into a spin. Maybe The first thing could be that back to the 3 part, because there's a string back to 3, maybe the 3 part of the string can be held so that that part is cancelled, allowing you to combo into a different move. So example, you could juggle someone back 2, stance cancel into electric, or back 2 on hit on a standing opponent, cancel it and go into a hell sweep, stuff like that. That's what I'm thinking it could be. Another thing could just be back 2 floats people higher, and you can buffer another move on its recovery, like it's got better frames, which is also quite cool, because I feel like back 2 in neutral play is not actually valuable. Its hit confirm rate isn't so good, and the move has telltale signs that it's about to happen, so we'll see. At the very least, Devil Jin has a new combo. That means that Forgotten Realm, Devil Jin has more presence, because he could use this before he screw, and then after the floor break he can then screw and then do a better extension. So we'll have to see how that goes for Devil Jin. Lucky Chloe seems to have received a new counter hit launcher from her 1-2, and she can back turn it into a Kali roll. So the damage is going to be potentially mind-numbingly ridiculous, because you get great damage after a counter hit confirm. It's not like you get more scaling. It actually is very good scaling, and who knows, I suspect it's gonna be good damage. If it's not good damage, that's better, because no one wants to be counter hit and destroyed by Lucky Chloe, which might just happen. And then at block number 1, we have Craig Murdock, who seems to have gotten a new string that combos potentially on counter hit only. I'm thinking about it like Armor King string that combos on counter hit and screws, and I'm thinking it's in the similar vein. I have a feeling that Craig Murdock is just growing stronger and stronger. I feel like this is a character that just needs a little bit more time, and it's just going to be tearing up most of the matches, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. We need more big body characters doing big things. So if Murdock is going to be that, let him be. But that's pretty much all in this block. At block 22, yes, we've been going for quite some time. We have Draganov. Initially, when I saw this, I was like, he's using the same screw. What exactly has changed? But instead, he's gotten a new string that leaves the opponent in a high wall splat state or a high flip state. And usually, most Draganovs would end their combo in the string 3-1-2. Which starts, I believe, high, mid, and now this string seems like it's gonna be a 3-1-4, which leaves them, like I said, you can use it to combo and leave them in a high wall splat situation, which is cool, allowing him potentially a new wall combo, given if the frames are good in terms of the recovery of that new string. And usually using strings in neutral play as Draganov sometimes is okay, sometimes it's a thing to do. So you could potentially, this may not be a good thing, but just throwing it out there, you could do you could do 3-1-4, the new string on block, and condition them to duck the last hit or any of the hits in between. Potentially the last hit, set it up meteor or something, I don't know. But then you can then do 3-1-2, which means they get hit by the mid if they try duck the last hit. It's a horrendous mix-up. Horrendous. But I'm just saying that's also a functionality that you can now go back and forth between the two strings. One has the mid that will hit the crouching opponent, one doesn't. You can set it up somehow. I don't know. Make down 2 good again. Make down 2 good again. Make down 2 good again. That's all I have to say about Draganov. And on block 23, we have Jack 7. He has a new string from back 2. Funnily enough, back 2 I feel like was already a godlike button. And then now they've assigned a string to it as well. So it's like it was godlike. Now it's just more godlike. So more extensions. Who knows what the frames are gonna be. I don't think it will be a natural combo on normal hit, probably gonna be a natural combo on counter hit, and it's probably gonna be devastating on back turn hit. So, oh my word. Oh no. Just think about what would happen on a back turn hit and what would be guaranteed after that. Oh no. Anyway, my word. On the final two blocks, we have block 24, we have Steve receiving a new wall bounce from his right dodge stance. Don't know really. I feel like Steve is a character who I haven't really seen utilizing the wall bounce mechanics, so maybe this might be a way to allow him to also utilize those tools. But besides that, I feel like Steve is in a really good place right now. A really good character, and we're seeing success in all skill levels. So power to Steve, if I can say it. I know people hate him by now, but it's good to see Steve doing business. And then finally we have Decoder, who seems like he can now cancel strings into his leg throw, which is quite cool, because now in essence you have a strike throw mix-up in a 3D game, which is a genuine strike throw mix-up, like no gaps. Well, at least there is a gap, but like it's a built-in gap. You know what I mean. Either way, Decoder can now cancel strings into his leg grab while he's on his handstand, which is quite cool. But that's pretty much it for now. I'm just going to throw this out there. Two notable changes that have happened in the game, which are like big for me. Akuma can finally combo into his Shungoku Satsu. Ever since, how long has it been? Literally, was introduced into the game at Fated Retribution, and then he could do that, and apparently it was overpowered. He removed it, and the years I've been playing this / quote unquote console release of the game, there was a time when I played Akuma for several months, and I was like, the fact that I get into rage and there are very few instances when I can actually use my rage art is crippling in itself. I felt like Akuma had no comeback factor, even though people say Akuma has a comeback factor, and I feel like not everything has to be hard. That was my issue when I'm using Akuma in rage. I need simpler, I need more options to utilize my rage, not some super extended combo, hard to do situation, requires a wall into rage art. No. Why is it that others can combo into the rage art and I can't? It was an easy thing. If in the past the damage was too high, they could have just scaled the damage and left the functionality, but instead they removed the functionality. But now it's back. So come season 3, I will try Akuma again, along with the rest of the 2D casts that I use, and I'm hoping to see if this is gonna be really effective or not, because maybe I'm hyping up something that isn't as important, but the fact that it was the last thing on the changes shows that it's a really big thing. And lastly, Geese goddamn Howard has got a new EX move that is a screw attack, and the beautiful thing about 2D characters that you can cancel normals into specials, normals into EX moves, normals into supers. So my thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to invite you to do the same, crack open your Tekken bot and then check your frames. Stand 1 into max mode, down 1 into max mode, forward 1 into max mode, stand 2 into max mode, down 4 into max mode. Even those same buttons on counter hit into max mode. Check your frames, because you'll be shocked that you can get standing conversions and then link, or should I say special cancel, into that new EX move for the tailspin. This is a big thing. Most often than not, you use back 3-2 to set an opponent into an airborne state, and then max mode to then get your airborne juggle into screw. No matter what, that's what every Geese does. But the thing is, back 3-2 has been nerfed so much that it's now very dangerous, if not detrimental, to use back 3-2. So why not then try utilize standing conversions into the new EX move. That will still allow you for the same screw attack. Probably the damage might be less, maybe, who knows. But at least you are able to use your meter more efficiently and safely. That's the good thing. You are able to use meter safely and efficiently. Now, also another thing, this is now just the KOF player inside of me crying, that you notice that mid-screen, most Geese Howards will do back 3-2, max mode, down 4-4-3, back 4-4, run up, standing 2, forward 1 into Jaken. You notice that in that entire sequence, I have activated max mode, but yet I haven't actually used any EX move at all. So the meter in itself is wasted. This will allow you to actually use your meter, which can make Geese meter efficient compared to other 2D characters. I feel like he wasn't meter efficient outside of a war. This new combo extension might actually make Geese good in a neutral stage, and also it will make Geese able to activate max mode raw and then go in and still be able to screw, because I feel like raw max mode activation is not a good thing right now. It's not where it's supposed to be. So power to Geese. Everyone who's been watching, everyone who's been listening, thank you very much. Waiting for season 3, waiting for Zafina. I've cracked open my Tekken 6 right now. I will catch you next month. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.